The Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi is in Tehran meeting the Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif and President Hassan Rouhani. The deal is set to have political, economic and strategic components. Iran's economy has suffered under U.S. after Washington withdrew from the 2015 nuclear agreement, of which China remains a part. Asad Beg has more from the Iranian capital.
Increasingly, Iran has been turning to Russia and China, especially since the former U.S. President Donald Trump imposed sanctions on Iran, sanctions that are still in place today. But this visit does come at a time where China has reportedly stepped up its purchase of indirect oil sales from Iran. And also, this is the highest Chinese official that's visited Iran since the election of President Joe Biden in January. So both politically and economically, Iran has been China. And back last year in October, when the United States Donald Trump was planning to put forward a motion to the United Nations to stop an arms embargo being lifted, the foreign ministry here told us that their understanding was and that they were confident that Russia and China would intervene with that veto. But this deal does have some critics inside the country, even though it's been backed by the highest authority, the Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Now, the former President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad said that the details of this deal had not been made available to the public and thus could not be really passed by Parliament. But there were also rumors that Iran would be handing over control of some of its islands to China. Now they have denied that. They said that there's nothing inside the deal that gives any country control of islands or Chinese forces presence in the country. But it does have widespread political support inside this country. And it's a way for Iran to be independent and build a country and an economy that is sanctions resilient.
Well, China and Iran's relations with the United States are at an all-time low. There were tense moments last week in Alaska when Chinese and U.S. officials exchanged sharp rebukes during their first meeting since Joe Biden came to office. And Iran is hardening its stance towards the U.S. and the European signatories of the 2015 nuclear accord. It wants U.S. sanctions, which have devastated its economy, removed before it hold talks to revive the agreement. The 25-year deal with Beijing is the first such long-term agreement for Tehran, and it comes ahead of polls in June to pick a successor to President Hassan Rouhani. Adam Nee is the director of the China Policy Center, and he says sanctions will be an incentive for both Iran and China to make the cooperation pact a success.
Both Beijing and Tehran have a number of reasons for wanting this deal, given the current international environment, and it's taken some years to get this deal done. First, geopolitically, both countries are looking for partners to work with. Both are under a fair bit of pressure from the United States. As we know, China's relation with the US has deteriorated significantly in recent years. Strategic competition has escalated, and President Biden is rallying partners in an effort to coordinate policy against China. So better relations between China and US is not on the horizon. In fact, competition is likely to deepen. Iran, of course, it has also been under significant political and economic pressure from the US and others, especially under the Trump administration. So, in effect, both are looking for partners to diplomatic and strategic. Beijing is looking for ways to increase trade with non-Western countries, make foreign investment as part of its Belt and Road Initiative, and importantly, secure its energy resources and sea lanes of trade and energy supply. So for Iran, trade with China, investment from Chinese companies, and importantly, the expertise and technology that China can bring to its collaboration with Iran are pretty big incentives, and these incentives have been amplified because of the sanctions.
Plenty more ahead on the Al Jazeera NewsHour, including this. India suspends the export of COVID-19 vaccines as its second wave brings a surge of infections. Victory for the BJP there would consolidate control in India's parliament. Polling is also underway in Assam. The two states